morning, y'all. It's Timothy. I chugged the Red Bull. Let's go. I talk about the conversation of pretty privilege often, or at least I did before you heard me complain about men, because oftentimes it's affected me highly in my life. I've been many sides of the coin. I've been the kid who wears the same fucking hoodie every day, and the flood-rising pants with the missing teeth and the acne, who was nicknamed Speed Bumps in middle school. I dealt with bullying, harassment, awful treatment, and I saw the way that people treated those they deemed more socially attractive, better smelling, better whatever fucking way they could. And it was fascinating to me. Fascinating how it's like, depending on your level of how you look on the outside, that's how people will treat you. And then I remembered that over time, I had my glow up. I decided to get into making my own skincare. I was lucky enough that my other side of my family was like, oh, your daughter's hair is fucked up, let's get it braided. I got to invest in my skincare and body hair and like lip gloss, and I was able to shave and wear new outfits and have jewelry and look really cute and pretty, and I saw the drastic ways people changed me, and it was scary and horrifying. And then what's scarier is that I realized the power I had, and it worried me. Like, I went from someone who was seen as a fucking nobody, like no one knew my name. No one gave a fuck about me in the slightest. Like, just a little stain on society, or a little fucking rat that you want to scare away and shoo out of the classroom. To suddenly it's like I could walk into a room and I'd hear a bunch of people yell, Tamia! Welcome! We missed you! I could take a day off of school and people would be like, holy shit, where did you go, girl? We missed you. We were all so sad and bored. I saw the way everything changed, and it fucks me up. But what's wild is, like, with time, if I wanted to be bad, I could. In a lot of different ways. And eventually, at some points, I got bored in high school. Sometimes I did shit that was just morally questionable, just because I felt like fucking doing it. I don't fully remember all of it, but I do have a blog that I've been working on since I was fucking like 11 or 12, so I have probably documented it in there. But whether it was someone giving me a slight grievance, or some sort of real big thing that they did to me that I was just lying in wait to get revenge on, or maybe I was just bored and it was a Tuesday, I would do mean shit. I would do Regina George level shit. Or, okay, not Regina George, that's a little tough. But let's say it's like, oh, my classmate Sadie, let's say she's sitting there on her laptop listening to motherfucking Metro Station and Nine Inch Nails on loop over and over and over again. And she walks away from the computer for a bit. And I'm sitting a reasonable amount of distance to her items, but still far enough. And she likes me, and she thinks I'm pretty and cool and smart and lovely, so she won't question me because she thinks we're friends, right? And I would just I remember this. It was kind of fucked up of me to do, but I guess I just felt like it. She did something to piss me off. I forget what it was. I think it was the fact that she was fucking a taken girl's man. I don't know. It could have been anything with me knowing me, and I forgot about this story up until now, so frankly put, I'm going to be just as shocked as you are telling it. But I remember straight up, I had a red marker in my bag, I had a piece of, and I just kind of went up to her shit when she went out the classroom for a bathroom break, and I just wrote H-O-E in big letters, and then went back to my seat. No one noticed, no one saw, and even if they did, they didn't think anything of it. She came back, she started throwing the world's most massive fit. Who wrote that I was a hoe? It was you, wasn't it, Brian? And then in the classroom, another kid who fucking hated her, Bryant Duran Mendoza, what a fucking cunt he was. Easy suspect. Everyone fucking hated him, but some thought he was funny, to an extent. He laughed his ass off seeing her reaction, which made him seem even more suspectful. So Sadie was like, Brian, how the fuck dare you? He said, what, bitch? She said, why the fuck would you do that to my paper? I was minding my business. And then cue a very massive fight. That's fucked up, obviously. That's fucked up. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, Sadie. Don't feel too bad for Sadie, though. Because she had her moments of doing shit like that, too. I remember once, she graduated from high school, and she just straight up gave my personal spam Instagram that I had back in the day to fucking Brian Duran Mendoza, knowing how much I hated him and all the other classmates. And when I asked her why she did it, she was like, I don't know, he asked. And I said, bitch, you knew he was tormenting me for like a year or several years, and you did that? And she was like, I don't know. I didn't think anything of it. So, don't worry. Like, how do I put this? We were all in special ed for a reason, because we were all some sort of extremely fucking stupid or slightly psychopathic. That's my defense, at least. Sometimes you're just a teenager and you're just like, for the plot. Or, I'm not gonna see anything. I don't care. Just do shit. Don't do that. Jesus, I'm shocked at my behaviors even as I'm looking back on them. Fuck, it hurts. I remember another time in high school. I remember specifically that we had a substitute teacher. I think her name was Miss Regina or something. She was beautiful, black lady, nice sparkly jewelry, like older black woman, very friendly, very fun. And I remember specifically we had this kid named, I think his name was Jamari or Jabari. He was cool. He had a bit of a temper. And I remember, like, I forget why I did it. I think it was a mix of just seeing if I could get away with it. But, like, I remember that I kind of at first, like, let's just say he was having a conversation with someone, and conversation got a tiny bit heated, and he just so happened to be next to the table that I was at. And as he was walking away from the table I was at, as he was having a bit of a heated conversation with someone else, let's just say he was trying to be, like, playful heated, like, man, forget you. But I, semi-accidentally, but then also just out of curiosity, like a fucking bored cat would with a vase on a counter, I knocked the chair over with my foot, tilted it over. It clattered on the ground. Hella hard. The substitute teacher looked up and she was like, now, Jabari, you need to calm down, young man. That is not acceptable behavior. And she starts going on, and I'm like, oh, no, that was my foot. That was my foot. And then she's like, oh, sorry, Jabari. Oh, sorry, sweetheart. It's okay. And, like, everything settled down. And I remember in that moment, I did feel bad to an extent. Of course I did. I was like, oh, oops, didn't want to get him in that much trouble. But then a part of me felt powerful, like, oh, people won't ever suspect me for shit because they think I'm too cute and harmless to do it. No, don't worry, I don't have too many of these stories. Okay, actually, I think I have, like, one more. There was this kid, yeah, he was the one who was fucking Sadie behind my other friend Audrey's back. Yeah, that wasn't cool. I did fucking warn Audrey, though, and so did Sadie, and Audrey still decided to date James/Patrick. He had two names. He was stupid. His real name was Patrick. He went by James to try to seem cool and sexy. He was a fucking loser. But simply put, like, let's just say, okay, sorry, I'm pausing the topic just to tell this. So, in a nutshell, me and Sadie were friends. Audrey was the new girl in the special ed class, and then James was the new boy in school. But I knew James, and Sadie got with James first, and they had a little sexual but also romantic thing for a bit. He was extremely narcissistic and awful to her, and just, yeah, he was terrible. So, when Audrey was getting close to James, me and Sadie were like, hey, just so, like, we could have elaborated more, but we still said, whatever you do, don't get close to James. He's a fucking asshole. And I said, if you want to know why, we'll tell you. Truly, trust me, you don't want to do it. He did her so dirty. And then Audrey, you know, Audrey's not a girl's girl. Audrey was one of those, like, wolf t-shirt, Wattpad story-loving bitches who was into the idea of being with the bad boy. So she was like, oh, yeah. And then she proceeded to be with James, and James cheated on her a lot in a very short amount of time. And one person he got with was Sadie. Why? Because Sadie also has self-esteem issues. No offense, it's kind of a reason she's in special ed. God bless her soul. I'm sure she's doing better now. Don't worry, like we talked, like, sometime last year or whatever. She's still loopy, but that's expected. You know, she's not bad. She's just emotionally complex. But aren't we all, you know? So, anyway. Why was I telling you that? I guess, I don't know, just, I'm telling you tea that's stale by, like, 7 fucking years or more. Like, almost decade-old tea, but I guess it's, fuck it, it's still tea, bitch. Now, oh yeah, I forgot, this is why I was telling you that. So, James. Let's just say at some point James repeatedly tried to cheat on Audrey with me. I did not play that shit for many, many reasons. He was not my type, but of course that's not the first fucking reason. Audrey was my friend, even though she could be a bitch. Like, even at her most bitchy moments, I still wouldn't fuck that man. It's like, he's a slithering snake, he's abusive to women. He slapped me in the face multiple times. He is not a good guy. Several times he would make fucked up comments about my tits or ass, trying to neg me, or just be a dick. He was a terrible, awful man. But I will say this, eventually, one day in the classroom, like, we had this stupid racist hippie teacher in the classroom. Her name was Heidi. She was one of those fucking hippie bitches that would walk up to you and be like, Like, if she saw a black student, she'd be like, I like my coffee in your color. And she'd say that to all the fucking black kids. And she would always say, like, some sort of... She said some fucked up shit about Asian people, Indian people, black people. And she was such a narcissistic fucking cunt. She did terrible things, which I've already made a video about it. I will make another if need be. Let's just say she should not be allowed around kids of any age, and she was nuts. And she needed her ass beat. If I ever see that bitch in the street, she's getting beat with a lock and a sock. But don't tell her I said... Or no, tell her I said that. I've told her... let's just say I cursed her out over text from a burner number so bad after graduation that she fully quit schooling. As she fucking deserves. Like, Jesus, she was terrible. She was one of those bitches that was just like the most racist, bigoted piece of shit in the world and also a massive misogynist. But then, you know, because she wore like fucking amethyst on her wrists or yoga pants that showed off her moose knuckle, you know... And she liked to wear motherfucking Skechers and, like, jog in place or whatever and eat motherfucking quinoa, cocoa powder, fucking stevia brownies in the class. She thought she was better than everybody and therefore smarter than you. Terrible fucking... I don't like people like that. Jesus Christ. But I'll say this. One of the cooler things she did was at some point she brought a rain stick to our class and she left it there. And I remember at some point, like, it was just a random day... in the special ed class, we were all hanging out, and I was hanging out with, like, the people in my friend group, and I found the rain stick. I was like, oh shit, look y'all, it's the rain stick. Heidi forgot this, I guess. And, like, I remember I was just playing with it and doing the rain sounds. So James, being an asshole, he's like, hey, give me that shit. And he grabs it. And then I'm like, hey, wait, I'll pass it to you in a second. James, he had an attitude problem. And I know you're probably like, Tamia, not everyone's a narcissist, but he was extremely narcissistic. I have a lot of stories of sexual violence and bad shit he's done to people. Like, trust me, I don't like to fling that shit around. If someone's selfish or just a kid who's doing dumb shit, I'll say it. He was not. He was a selfish, scary-ish individual at times. Or, well, I wasn't scared of him, and he didn't fucking like that, but whatever. I'll put it like this. He tries to grab the rain stick, it's a huge thing, and he specifically yanks it hella hard on purpose. And it puts splinters in my hand. I'm not talking just one splinter, I'm talking like 8 different splinters in both hands. So I was pissed and my whole face burned red. And he wanted to tug of war over that shit. And so I decided I did something really fucked up and smart. I was like, no, I'm not gonna give it to you, no. And I pulled and pulled and pulled, and right as I could tell that he was about to pull full force back like he did the first time that gave me the splinters, I specifically let that shit go and also pushed it forward. And that shit jammed back in his face. You heard like the nastiest little eggshells mixed with the grape jelly getting crushed noise ever. I didn't say sorry. I just played that shit like, oh, oops, oh my god, are you okay? Oh, wow. Ooh, do you need some eyes? Whole time I knew what the fuck I did. He knew it too. But I got away with it. I've done plenty of fucked up things. I don't know. It's one of those interesting things where it's like there's a whole lot of reasons why people can enable certain behaviors and factors, but I do just remember a good portion of things that happened from the point in time where people considered me attractive, like, or really, really attractive, like freshman year to now. Holy fucking shit. Like, oh my god, the amount of attraction I thought I had when I was in high school. Let's just say I didn't realize how attractive it was. I remember I was actually a pretty meek kid outside of like special ed class. I didn't fuck with nobody, and I truly swear on my life I mean that shit. But I still had bitches hating who I'd never even met. And then only years later, or talking to adults where they like, oh yeah, they're just jealous. And I thought that's such a Disney ass excuse. Why would they be jealous? But then someone had to break down and explain to me, and I've had several people do this because sometimes I'll forget. They will be like, you are extremely attractive. No, I'm not kidding. You are extremely attractive. You have eyes that are in a color that no one really has. Like, you have little, like, they look green in some lightings and then gold in the sun. And they have this nice thick black rim. You have these perfect little lips where it's like a chocolate strawberry in the top lip and your cheekbones and your face shape. Like, simply put, everything about you is attractive. Like, I don't know if you look around and compare yourself to others, Tamia, but you're really attractive. And I kind of was like, why would I compare myself to others? That's what people do all the time. That sounds like a terrible way to live. And mind you, I got bullied a lot in middle school, but even then I thought to myself, that seems fucking stupid. In a lot of ways. I don't know. Just, I don't know if I, like, sorry this is a bit of a long intro, it's like, this is a long journey before the actual build-up, but I'll say it like this. The main point I want to make in this video is that it's weird to know that you can be considered So attractive that you can get away with things. Even things that you shouldn't. Like, you know, like think about all the times you've seen someone with a really attractive mugshot. Like a perfect fucking mugshot. And then the mugshot could say something like left a baby in a hot car, breaking and entering, shot at her baby daddy 5 times, pissed on someone's porch, shat on someone's porch, beat up a nurse, and then people will be like, oh my god, what's her bail? Or even if it's a man, it's like, oh my god, what's his bail? Like, they don't give a fuck. Who's that woman who made that scam? If you've ever seen the show The Dropout, I highly recommend it. You can watch it on like Hulu, Disney Plus, or if you're like me, you can bootleg it. But it talks about the story of Elizabeth Holmes. Now, mind you, Elizabeth Holmes is not a very cute woman. But she was cute for the old men that she was around, so everyone just went, yeah, you know what, this girl who didn't fucking graduate from college whatsoever with any sort of, like, actual, like, science or medical degree, who was told no, like, every single step of the way, you know what? Like, let's give her a company and tons of, like, billion-dollar deals without a product that actually confirms works. Like, no products of hers have ever worked, but you know what, she's got those big blue eyes, and she is white, with fucked up eyeliner and a turtleneck and blonde hair, and we like that Aryan shit, and we like pussy, so hey, we might as well give women a chance, huzzah! And then that blew up in their face, and now she's a fucking leader of a disgraced fucking biotechnological company. Another busted ass white woman, Anna Delvey. People think Anna Delvey, like, Jesus Christ, you want to know what's so funny? Is that Anna Delvey, I guess it's not fully pretty privileged, but it still sort of counts. They kind of were like, huh, this is one frizzy-haired, busted white bitch. But you know what? Not bad. And hey, she's out here handing out hundreds to, like, anyone she can. And she dresses hella bummy and she's arrogant and snarky as fuck. We're going to assume she's rich as fuck. Like, I'm looking at fucking videos and photos of her right now. It's like, she's kind of, you know, she looks good here. She doesn't look so good here. But, you know, but like, you know what I mean? Oh, wait, never mind. That was Elizabeth Holmes in the first one. Yeah, Anna Delvey is fucking... yeah, Jesus. She's, yuck. Sorry. But then again, not too terrible. There's worse out there. Everyone went, yeah, this is a skinny white bitch with pretty-ass eyes. We are gonna believe everything she says. If this busted-ass bitch is so arrogant and walking designer, she can get anything she wants. And then, funny enough, there's still people that I believe want to work with her, even though they know she's a scammer, and that's strange. Some people, not all. Just so I'm to be fully honest. But that type of shit's crazy. And I guess that's kind of like a decent example. It's like she was pretty-ish. Like, she fit society standards. She knew it's like, okay, I'm a white woman. I have mostly straight hair. I have decent facial features, and all I have to do is just fake it till I make it, and people will give me the world. And it's like, and at several points, her friends were even like, hey, you owe me like millions of dollars on my company's credit card. You owe me thousands. Can you pay it back, please? She'd be like, hey, no, I'll give it to you later. And then she kept pushing it off, and she almost got away with it. She almost built, like, if I recall, she almost built her own fashion house and fashion brand, and was this fucking close to getting away with it, which is the craziest fucking part. And from what I can remember, there are still people in her friend groups who don't hate her, who are just like, oh, well, she's always been cool with me, she was fun to party with, or, oh, well, you know, even though she owes me a shit ton of money and is probably gonna go to jail, I don't see her as a bad friend, and that scares me a little. That kind of, it's something about that worries me. This one is relevant. You know how I talked about James, the one who fucked over my friend Audrey and Sadie, and yes, he fucked over both, and more. Jesus. I'll put it this way. He also tried to fuck me over, and he did, not in a romantic way. He actually tried to punish me in my high school because I refused to ever give him a chance. Very amusing. Also, no offense if you're ever like, why don't you date a certain demographic? The story of James and that other fucking friend in the special ed class related to James are perfect examples on why. I just know. I was like, yeah, I'm not letting lightning strike me a third fucking time. Are you crazy? But simply put, James got away with a lot of shit for years, because everyone just was like, he's so cool, he's so attractive, he's handsome, he's suave. This nigga took several of his friends' girlfriends. He was fucking his best friend's girlfriends. And then still somehow, like, tossing away the bitch. And then being like, guess what, me and you can be homies again. Yeah, she's some hoe, right? And then the friend would be like, oh my god, yeah, I'm gonna date her again, and we're gonna get over this. And then he just casually would keep tossing people's girls back and forth to them, and they let him get away with it. He fucked me over hard. and brought my little reign as the fucking queen bee of special ed. What an interesting title. Not queen bee, but I was the queen. Oh, princess or whatever. Everyone loved me. That quickly fucked up. Why? Because James and the revenge porn and the bullying and the rumors and the everything, and it all got really fucked up and spiraled fast. And people like Heidi and my main fucking teacher in special ed class, they accelerated it. So, but James got away with it for years. And people only started to see him as the asshole he truly was because at some point he just kind of said fuck school, and he just fucked off in the middle of the school year to just go to fucking Alabama for some goddamn reason. And everyone was like, wow, James just tossed us away and didn't say goodbye and isn't responding to any of our texts, and we all missed him and loved him. He's treating us like we're nothing. And I kind of thought to myself, yeah, I predicted that fucking 3 to 4 years ago, but okay. I've had many different friends who were attractive and popular and all that, and then the second they treated me like shit, I dipped. Why? Because I have self-respect and don't feel like I need to have them around. These motherfuckers, not so much. They will be so desperate to have someone around that they'll overlook anything. Now, mind you, this also applies to me in my own life, because guess what? I have a life after high school, believe it or not. That's usually a beautiful thing. If you had a life, good or bad in high school, you don't peak, your life continues. That's the beauty of it. But let's just say I've had several moments in my life where I've just done things and I've gotten away with it, you know? And it's weird. Like, do you know how many times I've been threatened with restraining orders? Do you, I fucking beat the shit out of Morgan at some point. He deserved it. He was trying to rape me, 100%. I remember that day very in depth, 100%. But even then, I remember afterwards, he was like, no, like, he could not stop being like, no, please don't leave me, I'll let you beat my ass, I'll get a fetish for it, you could just beat me all the time, I'm okay with it. And then I think, there were a few other times before the rape incident where I did also whack the shit out of him. Those times, I'll put it this way, some of those moments were reactive abuse, because he was an extremely emotionally abusive and physically abusive partner, but other times it was like, okay, did I need to beat that nigga's ass all because he was being stupid and shitty over some dominoes? Did I need to whack him like that? I didn't need to, but, you know. But either way, he didn't give a shit. He just was like, I love you and I want you around and you're so gorgeous and pretty and beautiful and I want you to be the mother of my children. And it's like, you should not be letting me get away with this. Stand the fuck up. Pretty privilege is weird. I had a job where I got away with... Do I want to confess this on the camera? Some of those are crimes, and I don't want to admit them on the statute of limitations. Let's just say it was actually baffling how, over the course of 2 to 3 years at that job, how many devastating things I got away with. Like, I don't even want to say, like, okay, I'll say, like, what do I want to admit? Let's just say I don't want to admit anything too incriminating tonight, because I am trying not to reopen too many wounds of shame in one day. It's been a long day. But yeah, it's like, I just kind of was like, huh. Yeah, actually, I remember several coworkers were like, the package room is always stuffed up, or the parking lot is always disorganized. I wonder why that is, and they'd talk to me about it, but they would seriously be like, that's so weird that this is happening, and no one knows why. They wouldn't say it as if they were trying to, like, passively, like, suggest that it was my fault. They wouldn't, like, no one suspect. I could work a job for 6 months to 3 years, and it would be even longer than that before they realized, oh shit. To me, is the reason why the package room is disorganized all the time, because that's one of her shifts and duties. But mind you, no one told me that was my shift and duty, and at some point other people just decided to take on the job for me because they were attracted to me and just wanted to get on my good side, or because they didn't give a shit. They just either went, Tamia didn't do it, but she's cute, so we'll let it pass, it's not a problem. Or they would be like, oh, well, she's the, like, people just thought I was at any job I've had, I could be bullshitting. I could be away from the desk for the longest fucking time on the penthouse level, fucking eating Milano cookies and Doritos that I took from the back, drinking nonstop sparkling waters, dancing my ass off to the most random motherfucking YNW Melly songs and Kanye songs, having a fucking blast, taking fucking hour and a half long breaks when it's supposed to be just like 30, sleeping on my shift, texting niggas, calling niggas, sometimes having niggas at the job. All sorts of shit. And I was never suspected because they just thought, oh, Tamia's so pretty. She's so nice. She's the sweetest one here. She's so personable. And so they just turned a blind eye to anything I did. because they either just assumed I was doing it or they didn't care that I wasn't doing it. They were just happy to have someone at the job who was likable and attractive that made them look good. And that was the most fascinating because I got away with it for years. I'm very grateful, I'm blessed, but it's like, damn, nigga, like, huh, you know? It was just surreal. Oh, another example. This also involves Morgan. Let's just say me and Morgan have had a complex relationship. Uh, how much do I want to incriminate myself? I don't think Morgan keeps tabs on me, so I can say this. Or let me Google something real quick. Alright, I don't want to incriminate myself too much, but let's just say it involves bodily fluids. Maybe, plead the fifth. And it potentially involves me doing something that involves this very, very tiny scar on my wrist. Thank God for cocoa butter. And some broken glass. Niggas knew it was me. They knew it was me. And they would still hit me up and be like, haha, was that you on my back porch? That was so silly. You're silly. I like that spark, Tamia. When are we gonna see each other again? And it's like, why would you let... What? They would be like, someone did this to my house. How strange. Anyway, now that that's over, would you like to come over sometime? Nigga, why would you want me back there? I would say the most disrespectful, actually really, really evil shit to people, and they would let me get away with it. And then even if people found out about the bad that I did, they would refuse to leave my life. Why? Because they wanted to still be around me. Whether because they wanted to fuck me, or they wanted to date me, or what. I could get on screen, on camera, and confess almost every fucking crime I've ever done on here, and there would still be someone going, you go girl, you're real as fuck, we love you. You're so real for that. So based, so sexy, so cunt, you know? Actually, fuck it, I'll tell this story. This is one of those moments that I won't say who this was about. Even, and I doubt they're keeping tabs on me now. Fuck them. But I will say this. There was an incident where I kind of went loco on somebody. And then a friend of mine was like, why do you think that guy doesn't want to talk to you so bad? Like, why do you think he's being so awful about communication? And I said, okay, I'll put it this way. Most of his miscommunication up until this point has been frustrating, but the other day, with his hostility now, I do understand why he's ramped up a bit in his audacity. He was audacious before, but I see why he ramped up. And my friend was like, why? And I said, okay. And let's just say I described a situation that involved some chewing gum, a bottle of a certain type of bodily fluid, some extremely expired pico de gallo, rotting food, and I forget what the last... I think it was also like a bunch of lime juice. Like, I just was like, fuck it. Let's make a disgusting, disgusting concoction. And I did something very bad with that. I'm not going to tell you what it was. But boy, oh boy, did it do the effect I wanted. And I remember I told that to my friend. And they paused, but they were like, honestly, you're real as fuck for that. And I was like, what? And I said, yeah. And they were like, yeah, you know what? If anything... I'm not even disgusted. I'm just shocked by your pure, like, intelligence and creativity to even... like, wow, I would have never thought to do so... And they just fully were like, wow, that's actually innovative. I love you for that. And I kind of thought to myself, shouldn't you be like, that's unhealthy and that's bad and you shouldn't do that? And they were like, I mean, I should, but it's kind of impressive that you thought of that. Stuff like that kind of scares me. I don't know if you've seen American Psycho, but sometimes I feel that way. Like... I'll put, like, oh, do you know how I talked about... Okay, so, for context. Sometime, like, last year, towards the end of summer, I hooked up with this guy, we'll call him Boomerang Dick. And let's just say things with him and my mental illness got so bad. Like, that he saw me sometime earlier, like, last month. Towards the start of February. And he was so scared of me that he was about to turn around and leave. And I had to text him. I was like, I'm not going to bother you, swear on my life. Trust me, you can perform here. It's gonna be okay. And he was terrified, but he tested the waters, he performed, he did well. You could tell he was still anxious as shit, but he was just glad I wasn't causing issues. But even then, before that, let's just say I gave him like a solid 4 months of hell. Like, he was fucking terrified and anxious because of me. And I feel really bad about that. Trust me when I say I did a pretty good job of self-punishing up in, like, cause, yeah, trust me, I hit a really bad depression point after that, and I felt like such a terrible person because I wanted to make sure I could never do such a thing to another human again. I truly, and I'm trying not to cry on camera, but I truly feel so fucking bad about what I did to him. But the weirdest thing was, like, it was like late November, early December, I think. I remember I was on Bumble. Even though I told myself I wasn't going to get on dating apps, but I thought to myself, you know what, I've done enough healing and growing. It's been 4 months. I haven't talked to this man in ages. He could be doing whatever. I'm losing my attachment. I've been looking up stuff about psychology and journaling and trying to like get my life together. I have a therapist now. I want to make sure I'm safe for myself, and I think I actually could be ready for like just like a small date here or there. Just like get out the house, socialize, meet someone, feel good. You want to know who I matched with? That same guy. There's only one person with my face and name. He knew my name. We lived in the same neighborhood at the time. My like my face, like, yeah, it's like, okay, light skinned woman, but it's like he knew, like, how do I put this? His dick was in my face. One would think he would remember my face and my just, but I don't know. Sometimes men can be stupid. Maybe he didn't recognize me. Maybe he did. Doesn't fucking matter. All I know is it made me feel so strange that it's like, you mean to tell me I did you so dirty, worse than anyone I've done in ages. I scared the shit out of you, and you would still match with me on a dating app because you're fine with trusting me with your genitalia and or your heart? I don't know. Sometimes, like, how do I put this? I'm the type of person that believes bad should be punished, and I even still hold myself to that to an extent. So sometimes when I do bad, it's a cross between I am grateful that I can be forgiven for this, but on another hand, it's like, why are you? You know, I've had a lot of audacious shit happen. A lot of audacious shit. Where sometimes I do bad and it feels like everything just resets and it's like it never fucking happened. And it scares me. Like, I don't know. Like, for example, there's this one guy who's kind of been hovering in my life for like 6 years. He knows I smacked the shit out of his, like, so-called best, or one of his close friends back in the day. I dated his close friend. Me and his close friend got in a really, really, really bad fight on that nigga's porch. I was doing Joker level, like, laughing and facial expressions, banging on that glass door, socking niggas in the nose until they bled, like showing massive signs of mental illness and duress. I was going insane on the internet. I was going insane in person. I did a lot of terrible, sad things that I still feel bad about, but at the same time, I did that shit when I was 19. I'm 24 now. Time has passed. Boo-hoo, you know? Well, not boo-hoo, obviously. I'm kidding when I say boo-hoo. I'm just saying, like, there's no use in crying about it. The best thing I can do is never see that nigga again and focus on my own peace and life and do better and aim to be the healthiest version I can. But it's still weird that it's like someone who saw all of it, who saw the mental duress, who heard about my bad actions openly, you're just like, my friend got hurt. That doesn't matter because I still want Tamia and I still think she could treat me well. A part of me is grateful that someone would and no, several of that specific guy's friends still tried to reach out to either be my friend or date me or fuck me. And I kind of thought to myself, as fucked up as it is, how do I somehow, like, I'm the one who did some bad shit. I was socking niggas in the face, and yet still, there's like a moral, how am I still kind of on higher moral standing than you to an extent? Because you would betray your friend just to have access to me, and I did them dirty? Then again, that nigga did do me dirty as well. And people can have their opinions and stuff, but to an extent, it's just like, at what point does it stop being forgiveness and start being enabling? At what point is it not just like done from a place of love and acceptance and, ooh, the whole world can be friends, kumbaya, let's sing it together? And when does it start being like, oh, these people truly don't give a fuck about others or themselves and they just do whatever feels right, and I will never ever ever truly be held accountable for my actions? Does anyone remember that scene from, like, there's multiple scenes in American Psycho that really resonated with me? The way that, if I recall, his name was Patrick Bateman. It's funny how this story has involved three Patricks. The Patrick who was evil in high school, who went by the name of James. The Patrick who I dated when I was 19 and punched in the face, and his friends still very much wanted me, despite knowing how psychotic things got. Very psychotic. Jesus Christ. And, like, I'll put it this way. It's just surreal. In American Psycho with Patrick Bateman in the movie, I know that at several points he just is blatant as fuck about the shit he does. He's blatant as fuck. And people still dismiss his actions or act like he didn't say anything or acknowledge them, but never fully. He'll say something like, oh yeah, I was fantasizing about rape and murder today, and they'll be like, ah yes, wonderful. Are you still coming to the gala tonight? Like, they just fully brushed off. Any sign of mental illness, any sign of pain, any sign of hurt. That concerns me. I've had people do that to me, and yeah, it's like a weird line that teeters between like acceptance for who you are and a dismissal of who you are. Like a line that is teetered between this is someone who genuinely cares for me and sees the best in me and wants to have high hopes in me and trust and believe that I can change and grow as a person and be a beautiful, loving thing like how they see me. And another thing is like this is just someone who wants to suppress what I really am to fit an idealized version of what they want, and will happily cut out anything, even with the most blatant evidence and signs ever, if it means they can keep me around. And that concerns me. That is concerning. I'm not a fan of that. Like, I don't know. For example, yeah, my ex-boyfriend Liam. I remember I told Liam at some point, because I felt bad about the shit I did to the Patrick that I dated. And it's a lot, like, let's just say, the way me and Liam met, he doesn't, let's just say I met him through one of Patrick's friends and whatnot. And it's a very long, complicated tale, but let's just say I wouldn't, even if I were to describe the way me and Liam met, I don't remember if I've told him or if he fully knows. I don't, but let's just say I have a bad habit where if I end things with someone, I go through their following list and add whoever I find hot or whatever, or cool, so I can like take their cool friends. Not really, but more like, think about it. If I'm not online like, ooh, fuck Zach, everyone, I hate Zach, but then I simply just block Zach and then go through his following and just add anyone who looks attractive, looks cool, all that, and then I never mention Zach again. And then people are like, oh, hey, how do I know you? I'll just say some shit like, oh, I don't know, but I thought you were cool. Oh, yeah. And then we start talking, and then we become friends. And then whole time, like, whatever ex I had will have no idea that I'm now friends with those friends, and it's interesting. Very morally gray, I'm aware of it, but simply put, let's just say I've done that several times, and that may or may not be how me and him met. But at the same time, I doubt he'll give a shit, especially now, but especially back in the day, I do remember at some point I did tell him, hey baby, I love you a lot, and I think we're far enough in my relationship where I think I've done a lot of bad, and I want to tell you about it because I don't want you to be blind about how I can get when I'm really mentally unstable or ill, and the bad I've done to like others, and what if it could affect you, and I'd want to talk to you about it, okay? Would you like to hear about it? And I remember he was playing video games, but he took me seriously enough. He looked at me, he said, no. And then he just went back to playing his Dark Souls, and I was like, oh, can I ask why not? It seems pretty serious. And he said, oh, well, think about it. It happened a while ago, and the past is a past. And I like you now. And that's all that matters. And he went back to innocently playing his game. And I'll put it to you like this. In all 3 years of me knowing Liam, we've had our highs, very high highs. We've had some extremely buck wild lows, but even then, I'd say he's still one of the best people I've met, because aside from one incident where I kicked the shit out of a mirror, which actually is still in my room, fucking shattered to the ground, and maybe a few a few cucking moments when we were separated, so it's not really cucking, but still, we have had a very untumultuous relationship. Oh, okay, wait, no, I also forgot. I also almost threatened to curse out his entire family and expose certain secrets, and I knew that would have caused chaos. I decided not to do that, though, out of love for him and not wanting to be bad, even though I hated his family. I did. I hated his family. But my love for him, I loved him too much, and I didn't want to be a bad person. And yeah, and because I didn't do that, we have stayed in each other's lives so far for another year after that point. So, he's a lovely individual, so what can I say? I guess it does feel comforting to know that it's like he did take a chance on me, and like, hell, I'll put it this way, I've gone mentally ill on most niggas except for him, and then even when I have gone mentally ill on him, he either kind of knows it's like, hey baby, it's just your premenstrual dysphoric disorder, or hey, are you hydrated and did you get some sunlight, and he is sweet. And then other times, he just also, like, it's like, okay, Tamia's being mean to me. Give it a few days. She'll be back. And then we can just play video games together. Like, it's one of those things. It's like one of those relationships where it's like, I appreciate it, but I don't. I don't know. Kind of reminds me of how, like, special ed class, you would see kids, like, 1 second it's like, fuck you, Brian! You stole my fucking iPod! And you'd see Sadie grab a cup of ice water and chuck it at his fucking head and start throwing fists. And they'd be saying all sorts of fucked up words and slurs to each other, and then the next day you'd see them playing Connect 4 like nothing ever happened. I don't know. It's interesting. It's just all interesting, I suppose. And it's like, oh, here's this guy who's like, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say something specific. Oh, but with American Psycho, I guess that's how I feel sometimes. Sometimes I will openly tell people the good and the bad I've done, and they don't give a fuck. Whether it's because they don't have a soul or because they see good in me too much, even if all they see is a really pretty face. If I was someone less attractive, they might not have been being so nice to me. Or because, like, I'll put it this way: how can you tell the difference between what's real and a facade with someone? How can you tell the difference between a bad person who acts good and a good person who acts bad? Like, for example, my mother, she was an attractive woman. She knew how to light up a room. She knew how to be charismatic. She went to the school fundraisers and helped run the motherfucking bake sale and all that shit. She took care of people's kids. People saw her as a beacon of light. Whole time she was beating her kids for hours on end and making them like stand around each other naked and opening up all the windows to make it clear that no matter what harm she would do to us, no one would stop. No one would help. Maybe that's another reason I find that shit so despicable. I don't like people turning a blind eye to things. You know? At least look it in the eye and acknowledge it. You know? That's how I feel. So whenever I meet someone, and like, yeah, I got drunk with a friend recently. I confessed something so like huge of a crime to them that I won't even say it on camera because it's so bad. And let's just say that person just was like, why? Hardcore. Yeah. And then they're still friends and they still hit me up to be like, hey Tam, hey Bubs, let's go out, let's do karaoke, let's go to this comedy show. And it's like, a part of me is like, is this acceptance a thing that I love and enjoy and embrace, to know that I am still loved regardless of my flaws? Or is this dismissal? Is it just blindness, naivety, enabling the same thing I hate? Because enabling is what got me harmed in high school. Enabling is what got me harmed as a kid. I hate enabling. Enabling is what has ended friendships and relationships and many, many more things for me. I hate it, It's just a complex thing of life. It scares me a little bit. Especially rooted in looks. Because then I just think to myself, would I get away with this if someone deemed me unattractive? Like, think about it. How many celebrities do you know where it's like they'll date someone who's like a neo-Nazi child rapist, but then they'll pop out like, oh, look at me. I lost 5 pounds in my waist and added it to my ass, and I'm wearing a cute wig. And then everyone's like, you go, queen, we still love you. You've never did wrong in our eyes. And it's like, she's dating a child rapist murderer. She wore a t-shirt with a school shooter on it and a heart around it. And you're just going to let her get away with that? Because she's got a fat ass and a slim, tight waist? Nigga, so do a lot of people. They don't have to be her. People just scare me sometimes. And I know it's ironic. It's like, as someone who has been a perpetrator at times, it's still kind of telling that I'm still scared of other people who are willing to dismiss certain shit. Like, I don't know if you remember how Nate was like in Euphoria when Cassie kept making excuses for her own shitty behavior. Because Nate is a fucking asshole. He's a fucking evil, evil man. Terrible guy. But even then, he was still like, Cassie, you're sick in the head. You're fucking me. Your best friend's like technical ex/man. You're making, like, nah, just admit you're a bad person. Whole time he's also a bad person, but he's like, at least own up to it. And she's like, no, I'm a good person and she's bad for you, so fuck you. And she got really strange and psychotic and manipulative, and it was just weird. I just get concerned is all. It's a very concerning reality we live in. Like, also, like, simply put, last year I talked a lot more about, like, psychotic shit I've done and the restraining order stuff. And you know what happened? I'll tell a dude, like, hey, I have gone psychotic and lost my mind several times. I have blackouts. I can get violent. I've been threatened with restraining orders. I have unhealthy obsessive attachment. And I've openly been talking about it on my page. There's like fucking 8 TikToks on my page right now with me talking about it. Like, why are you here in my DMs? And then the guy would be like, oh, I don't know, I just saw your pretty face and I just wanted to DM you. And I was like, so you just saw my big sparkling eyes and plushy rosy lips and you were just like, I'm not gonna read a single word in these videos because ooga booga, hot lady. And then I'd be like, I implore you, how about this? I want you to even just click on one video, if you can, 6 of them, and read the captions in the post and see if you still like me. And then they read them and then they're like, yeah, never mind, I changed my mind. And it's like, this fucking exactly fucking idiot. And I remember for that exact same guy, he actually was like, you know what, actually, maybe I will. Maybe I will. Maybe I will still pursue you. And I'd be like, oh, why? And it's just frustrating. Like, I've had dudes where it's like, I remember, the dude who was friends with Patrick, the one when I was 19, that one, the James one. Wait, no, the other one, not the James one. I'm confusing myself. You know how I dated a dude named Patrick when I was 19? That's the one who I punched in the face, or backhanded the fuck out of, and knocked his glasses off when I was 19, had a terrible breakup, blah blah blah, and how his friends wanted to get with me. One of them was named Vincent. Several times over the past, 6 years, I have called Vincent every fucking mean name you can think of. I said that he was a weird-ass Roy L. Dennis elephant man-looking motherfucker, and that he should personally go out of his way to kill himself. You want to know what happened? He hit me up just a few weeks ago. Actually, like a week and a half ago. He was like, hey, how are you doing? Just wanted to check in and see how you are. And I had to be like, you should get some self-respect and stop talking to me, because what the fuck are you doing? Also, you weren't respectful last time we met up. You've been simping for me for all these fucking years, and you were disrespectful, unhygienic, all that. Fuck you. And you're actually, and I think I forgot what specific extremely bad word I called him. I'm not gonna look it up, but it was heavy-handed. And that nigga is still following me and will still probably message me again. I've said shit to Morgan with the intent of making him fucking break down crying. And he still wanted me. Did Morgan deserve the shit I said? Absolutely. He was an extremely narcissistic, awful, fucking terrible person. He has never ever in his life treated a woman right. And he has an insane amount of daddy issues. But still, people overlook it. It's just wild how people can just overlook certain things if they find you attractive or if they want to see you perceived as good. It confuses me highly. It kind of fucks me up. Now, I wanted to talk more about how it can factor into looks and popularity, but I think I've talked enough for this video. But there was one specific book I read as a child. One second. I can't remember the book I read as a child, but it was an impactful story that kind of did a number on me. It was a story about this, teenage girl who lived in a beach town, and she became friends with this really popular girl, so beautiful that she was a model and borderline famous, and everyone in town knew her as the gorgeous, extremely wealthy, hot girl. And throughout the story, the hot girl does some fucked up things, some good things, some bad things, and it affects the main character. And the main character, at some point, she's just like, fuck you. You know what? You will never understand how it is to be someone who is seen as imperfect. Because someone will always go out of their way to see anything you do as cool and good. And you will always have a perfect, better life than fucking anybody. So fuck you, you will never understand my struggle, and you'll keep being ignorant and keep fucking us all up. But mind you, it was a PG-13 book, so they had to say freaking instead. Or I think they got away with at least one fucking, basically. And I remembered that the final chapter of the book, the popular girl, she goes to the protagonist's mom at the hair salon, and she basically says the equivalent of, just fuck my shit up, fam. And the mom is like, what? You want me to just ruin your hair? And the hot girl's like, yes, I want you to. And the mom's like, I can't do that. And the hot girl literally grabs some scissors and chops off a huge portion of her hair and says, there you go, perfect. And everyone in the salon loses their fucking minds. And then she basically is like, cool, I want you to do this all over my head. Just haphazardly cut and chop. The more fucked up and twisted you can make it, the better. I want it to look disturbing. And I will pay top dollar for it. So the mother complies, and even though she's like, oh, my portfolio does, she does it. She does it for the teenage girl. And then it said in the story that it's the hot girl tried to cut her hair to make it perfect, because she wanted to see how it felt like to be normal, to be a person, to be human, to not be put on a pedestal, to be outcast or treated weird or treated funny or anything. She wanted to know how it felt like to, be held accountable for her actions more than just that one single time by the protagonist. She wanted to know how it felt to, actually face repercussions for something, to be treated badly, to be human, and, be recognized as human and not just be treated as some fucking walking goddess no matter what good or bad she did. To not be stonewalled out of, the human experience of having flaws. And you want to know what happened? The haircut didn't work. She got a haircut all right, and it was indeed a little ragged. But on her, it looked avant-garde. The way her hair was cut, it showed off her amazing jawline. And like the special way her hair was fucked up, it actually kind of framed her face and brought out her amazing fucking cheekbones and her jawline and her long neck. And the way it was framed around her face, like even though it was fucked up, it brought out her eyes. It made her like brow look so much more sharp, and her eyelashes pop even more. She looked even better. So even, and she was pissed because now she's like, is there really, she, like, you know, she was one of those women where even if you shaved her bald with a fucking razor and some foam, she would still come out the other side fucking ethereal in a way no one else was. And it kind of broke the hot girl's heart. Because I guess she kind of was like, this is a trap. I'm never going to be held accountable for my actions. I'm always going to be seen as like some icon or legend or this or that. And never truly like have a normal life where she could go unnoticed. Or hell, if she does bad, she wants it to be noticed, not just brushed under the rug. And oh, it's okay, sweetie. Torment those people, hurt someone else. She didn't want to hurt. She wanted to be taught what is good and what is bad. But no. So she left the hair salon, just playing with her fucked up hair. Still really sad, fucking drained, if anything, because she's just like, fuck. I'm just not gonna be held accountable to the extent of my actions. Always. And that's how I feel. Sometimes I feel like that. I don't know if it's coming off as quite clear, but like beauty is a wonderful thing. Popularity is a wonderful thing until it's not. Until next thing you know, you could be suffering and doing bad. You could be on your Instagram story crying for dear mercy, saying, please someone reach out to me, please, I'm suicidal and I'm about to lose my mind, and I think actually if I lose my mind further, I'm gonna kill myself and I'm taking somebody with me. And yet still, no one will care. And they'll see you at a social event, they'll be like, hey, it's Mia, you want a drink? Hey girl, how you been doing? What you been up to? Do they really care how you've been up to? Not really. They care about you slightly more than they care about someone who isn't popular or isn't attractive, but even then, it's all fake, and you want something real. You want someone who's going to DM you and be like, I care what's going on, tell me your life story, and it's not just someone who wants to fuck you, it's someone who actually truly cares for you. It's not someone who sees you as a target of their lust, or if someone in the friend zone, or like you have friends that are real friends. Not just people who want to fucking feel good by being around you, who want to seep off your popularity, who want to eat your pussy. None of that. You want real. And you want to know how people really feel and really will treat you. What's so funny about my high school trauma is that when I fell from the throne of popularity, I got to see how some people would really be like. I put in less effort towards my looks. I was the kid wearing a fucking hoodie every day. Sweaty as fuck, miserable. You know, like fucking baggy ass mom jeans that didn't fit, but it was the only thing I could have from the wash. Sweaty, not the best smelling at times. No friends, no anything. And my hair was fucked up, and I wore it under a hood every single day, and I sulked to myself and listened to non-stop mindless self-indulgence with these amazing subwoofer headphones we had at special ed class, and I was on the desktop all day and avoiding anything. Avoiding classmates, teachers, all that. And I got to see who truly was there for me. Like, even when they thought the looks faded, even when I was crying and miserable and my dark circles were kicking in and I lost a scary amount of weight and I wasn't considered the most popular or cheerful or most beautiful girl, I got to see who was still there, who would still say hi to me, who would still ask me to join in on their games or talk to me or crack jokes. I got to see who would go out of their way to be terrible and abusive to me and awful and kick me down even farther. And mind you, it wasn't even people I hurt or did anything bad to. It was just people doing that because they felt like they could. And so, sure, it sucked, but to an extent, it was like, cool. I'm free from the reins of being treated very well by despicable people who I can't even truly get to fuck off. Now I am free. I got to see people where it's like, yeah, like Sadie, when Sadie first came to class, I remember she could say something like, oh, I'm really sweaty, so I wear men's deodorant, it's really strong for me. And all the boys in class would be like, ew, shut the fuck up, Sadie. And they'd say that because Sadie was like a fat white girl with fucking zits on her tits and a double chin and blah, 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 like, and greasy hair. So they'd make an excuse to be shitty to her. But then if I said, oh, actually, I do that too. I tend to sweat a lot. They would simply just go quiet and then act like I didn't say anything, and then bring up something random to get the topic off of me. Sadie could say something out of pocket, or something a little like dark or morbid or funny or sensitive. They wouldn't give a fuck about her, or they'd mock her for it. I could say the same thing and I get praised. I noticed that and I thought to myself, that's fucking despicable. And I didn't care about those people, so it's no wonder that at certain points with some of them, I just wanted to see what I could get away with. Just because I thought to myself, this is such an interesting, weird bond of a bunch of people who do and don't care about each other. They like me because I'm pretty and interesting and the perfect balance between a Madonna whore. And they like that. They like that I'm skinny. They like that I have a nice curvaceous body, but not too curvaceous. They like that I'm innocent, but not too wholesome. They like that I have long, pretty hair, but I'm still a tomboy, that I'm cool. They can ask me shit like, hey, Tamia, would you rather fuck Kim K or Amber Rose? And they'll enjoy the fact that I'm bisexual, but if they ever realize, oh shit, she's real bisexual, like actually likes women, they'll be a little disgusted, but they'll turn a blind eye. Why? Because they still want a chance with me in any fucking way, shape, or form. They want to seep off my popularity. They'll think, ooh, she's a token to get better friends, to get a better life, all that. And it makes me fucking sick. So when I went through all the bullying in high school, yeah, that fucking sucked. But you know what? It was kind of like the world was freeing me. It was like, there you go. You no longer have to be surrounded by people who you have to be fake nice with just for the sake of surviving high school, just to not be a Sadie. Now you can truly do what the fuck you want ever. And then eventually I became the Sadie. Like, you know how I said Sadie just kept to herself listening to Metro Station at the beginning of this video? I became Sadie. Listening to a non-stop Metro, like mindless self-indulgence or like Vocaloids or whatever the fuck I listened to in high school. Like XXXTentacion on full blast type shit. I became the emo moody girl. The unpopular girl. The messy girl. And I was free. And I liked that. And people saw me for, like, you know, people saw me for whatever fucking rumors got made up. And they no longer saw the good in me, whether it was actual good I did or the pedestal they put me on. And a part of me was free because it kind of taught me, cool, the ones who I did do good for, I know that it's like I still gave love, and I know I have it in me. I just know that they're not worth giving it to anymore. And some people will never see your true value or appreciate it because they can't appreciate anybody or anything because they're selfish fucking idiots. And the people who, like, believed rumors that weren't fucking true, it's like, cool, I get to have you out of my life. Because if you really thought I was eating that kid's ass, why would he be, like, no, that, it's so funny how that was the weirdest rumor for an ex to spread about me. Like, mind you, I'm a grown adult, I'm 24 now, and still, to this day, almost a full decade later, I can tell you, me and him did not really even have sex. Ever. Like, it's so weird that he was just going around to his straight friends trying to be macho, like, hey, did you know Tamia ate my ass? Yeah, she ate my ass like groceries, dude. It was nasty. That says, why are you telling people fictional stories where I'm eating your ass to impress your fellow straight male friends? That's the gayest shit ever. Be who you are for your pride inside. 2. Why are you making yourself be funky bootied in the fictional sex story you're telling to your friends? That's a... Well, he also didn't take good care of himself, so it's not that far from reality, but still. What the fuck? Yuck. Also, I hope you got that reference, the pride reference. It's a funny-ass video. Ouch, hit my head. I'm just saying. I was free from the curse of never being able to see people for what they truly are. So whenever I meet people where it's like they can see me at my most messy, my most vulnerable, my most insane, like, you know, it's like people who can be like, hey, Tamia, I like your hair no matter what fucking shape it is. Even if it's a shape that hasn't been discovered by society yet, I still fucking love you. Even if it's an unhinged story, they'll still fucking love me. But they won't. It'll be actually like, yes, this was bad. Yes, this was good. And actual discussions. It won't just be like surface level bullshit. I like when it gets deep. I like when it's real. I like when I can feel. That's what I truly like. So God bless to the people who do that. The world is too surface level of a place. And I'm always happy when I get to meet people who will be their most authentic self. You know. So if like, you know, I've had friends where it's like they tell me, it could be like, okay, did you torch that man's car? I can realize that was bad that you did it and still love you. It doesn't mean what you did was good, but I can still love you regardless. And still, like, hold you accountable. But still also respect why it happened and understand. And still encourage you to never do that again. But still love you as a friend. I can understand people's flaws in life, and I can see people when they're extremely fucking hot, but also when they're extremely fucking busted. And I'll still love them, you know? Because that's what love is. You don't just have it conditional based off of looks or popularity. It's because you truly feel that way about a person, and that's what I love. And I'm just saying, like, I know some people can be like, oh, wouldn't you argue that unconditional love is the best? Not really, because to an extent it's still conditional. Like, think about it. Patrick Bates, they didn't give a fuck about him murdering people only because they saw him as rich and popular. But guess what? If he went poor or broke or desolate, they probably would have not helped him out as much. Or even if they did, it was just to make themselves look better and seep off of his energy and power. I'm just saying. Like, people who have unconditional love, I don't really believe it's real. Kind of like those people who have predators as sons and do nothing to, like, fix them. Because if you truly love them, you'd want them to be better. If you truly, like, and also people who get married but then, like, want to get a divorce the second their wife, like, gets sick or feels ill. It's like, oh, so your love, you swore you were gonna love each other through sickness and health, but the second she gets a little cough or some cancer, you're like, fuck that, fuck the bills, fuck it, you're losing weight, you're no longer fuckable, I'm getting a side chick and divorcing you, and you can't get alimony, and I'm taking the house. Like, the best thing is when someone shows their true colors early. I like people I can show my true colors with and be honest with, and I like people who, like, vice versa. Like, hell, I cut things off with this guy I've been seeing recently, and I made it clear. I was like, because I thought to myself, I could keep up a facade of being the cool girl, but then eventually I'll lose my fucking mind, and the homicidal thoughts kick in, and the suicidal thoughts, and then it gets bad. And I just was like, hey, listen, you know what? Hey, I like you a lot. I'm catching feelings for you. And I don't know how to emotionally process them because I have, like, anxious attachment and this, and that, and a very bad past. And I have a history of being threatened with restraining orders. And I value and like you so much that I don't want that to happen to you. So I can't have sex with you because I did bad things to people before when I had sex with them. Because I can't physically handle that sort of thing. But I like you a lot. And I want to be friends with you. And I care. And so me and that guy talked it out. And guess what? Now he's messaging me still tonight. Because I was able to be my true self around him. And he knows me. He's known me for years. And that makes it extra nice. So instead of it, like, there's no facade. Like, you know, if I didn't know him, maybe there'd be a tiny bit of a facade of, oh, look, I'm sane. Oh, look, I'm this. Oh, look, I'm that. But no, he's known from the jump that it's like, oh, yeah, this is my friend from online. She's kind of got mental health issues. This is how she feels about men. This is how she feels about sex. This is how she feels about everything under the sun. And he was a smart man, and he knew, okay, Tamia likes jewelry and sparkly things. Tamia likes generous men. Tamia hates abusive people, and Tamia loves communication. And so he tries for me, and I try for him. And so far, nice. So we've been, pleasant friends since we last talked. It's been 24 hours, and it's going well. I'm just saying, beauty can be found when people just allow themselves to have their true colors. That's why it hurts so much when even to this day I've met and dated people who lied about their true selves. Because it's like, I'll accept you. It's like, okay, you used to go through motherfucking sewer grates looking for fucking cigarettes in high school to smoke them yourself. Is that a bit weird? Yeah. Do I accept you? Yeah. Like the Mitchell guy who cursed his name. He's disgusting. But trust me, I remember I asked him, hey, did you say that you were 28 when you're actually 29? And he admitted, yeah, because I was nervous that you wouldn't like me. I laughed my ass off, but I reassured him, it's like, it's okay, I understand why you did it. And we had a pleasant best about phone call. Why? I accepted him. I accept a lot of, like, people can be insecure, nervous, like, there's a million reasons why people are the way they are. And I hate when people hide who they are, because trust me, I know that pain. I know how it feels. I've been suffocated, whether it was because people saw me on such a beautiful pedestal that I thought if they know my secrets, they will eat me alive and they will fuck me up and everyone's gonna hate me. But I've also known how it feels to be like, I've known how it feels to be like the outcast. I've known how it feels to be the quirky one. I know, let's just say I've had a lot of perspectives. It's been a very long, beautiful life. And I'm more fascinated by people who will just be open and be like, hey, here's some shit I did in high school. Here's something cringe I did. Here's something awkward. Here's something good. Here's something bad. You know? And I enjoy it, because that's how you get authentic bonds. Shit like that is why Liam and I still have a connection. He knows how I work. I know how he works. And it's relatively authentic. Bless it. Like, hell, just the other night I was telling him about a fucking rectal prolapse I have. And, you know, pretend I didn't say that. Well, up to you. But either way, he was chill as fuck. And I remember I was like, I was like, it's getting bad. He was like, oh, what should I do? I said, do you have salt? And just pour salt on it. And he was like, I have sea salt. Does that work? And I could have just pretended to try to stay girly and classy in his eyes, but it's like, no, I've known him for 3 years. If he gets to tell me about his mega squirty shits in the morning and how messy it gets after Taco Bell, I can tell him when my asshole is turning inside out, you know? And our bond was even better for that. He even messaged me a few hours ago like, hey baby, how's your butthole doing? Is your booty okay? And we have a beautiful, fucking honest, blessed bond because of it. A sweet, serene, blessed bond that is based on honesty and sincerity. And that's beautiful. I wish that for a lot of people, okay? So I just encourage you, try to love people without how they looked, without the facade, without all that. Because I get heartbroken when I meet people and they talk to me and then they'll say some shit like, wow, I haven't talked to anyone who has ever done this. I haven't interacted with someone like this in years. Or they tell me secrets that they've never told anyone despite having so-called best friends of a decade. That type of shit breaks my heart. I'm just saying. Like, you know, why are you married to someone and you have to hide that you have body hair or this or that going on? Is that really love or is it conditional? Because if someone can only love the fake version of you unconditionally, then when that breaks, guess what? They're not going to love the you under you. So just be who you are. Please. Work on it. Alright, love you. Hope I got this video point across. Anything else I want to say? Yeah, just try to love yourself. And if you love yourself, you won't notice when anyone else isn't around. Or at least you'll notice when real as fuck motherfuckers come around. Because they will stay. They will hear about your worst. And they will acknowledge it. They will be like, yes, you did wrong. You should never do that again. And I still love you. And I want you to get better. And I see the best in you. And they hold you accountable. And they try. They don't sweep it under the rug. They don't try to pretend you're better than you are. Or even if they do see you in the best possible light, they still have a bit of reality to them of like, yeah, that's bad. Don't whack niggas in the face. Oh, yeah, you should probably do this or that. But hey, we still love you. And they show support. I love you so much. Please show support to your friends. And see how well you truly know your friends. And your loved ones, okay? Bye.